Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. Today I'm filming a little recommendations video where I'm gonna recommend 12 queer sci-fi and fantasy books. This is again in the honor of Faes and Gays, my book club that I am co-hosting with Cecilia and Eric, where we focus on reading queer sci-fi and fantasy. Obviously the link to the book club and everything is down below, and this is basically all of our 2021 picks where I'm gonna talk through all of them and say my thoughts and recommend them to you. So hopefully you will enjoy that. I did a video of this for the first 6 books we had for July to December in 2020. So this is, as I said, the 12 books we did in 2021, and then finally probably do a video for the books we picked out this year too. Either one, we read 6 or 12 of them. I like 6 or 12. I think that's like the nice numbers to do this. This is actually a bit late, and you know, I read some of these many months ago, over a year ago now, so we will see how I'm holding up in this, but hopefully it will still be enjoyable. And I will try to leave the discussion for all the lives down below. If you want more in-depth thoughts on any of them, you can check out those. This is basically just queer sci-fi and fantasy, and I hope you enjoy, and some of them will interest you, because there's always, you know, so many you haven't heard about, even though sometimes I feel like there are none, and now suddenly there's many, but sometimes they're hard to find. So yeah, let's just roll. Our first pick was Black Tigers of Heaven by Nan Young. This one is the first one in a trilogy, or is it a 4th book? I'm pretty sure it is a trilogy. And I read the 2nd book since reading this as well, but yeah, it basically follows a pair of twins. We have Mokoya and Akea. Sorry, cannot remember any names, so obviously have to peek. Mokoya is like destined to be like, I was gonna say, like, see the future, really important futures, and then they get separated and live completely different lives, but yeah, they still have a connection, and we get to see that through this short, I was gonna say novella, but it goes really fast as well. So it's like a book you would read if you don't want something too long. The interesting part of this is that you also get to choose your own gender at a certain age, so you are never born into a gender. This is what you choose after it's been a while. So that is like one way in the world that is very interesting, but also there are queer couples as well. It is a very intricate world where all of things are explored, and it's also heartbreaking and really exciting at the same time. While since the shortness makes it, you know, maybe not as in depth that you would want it, but still a very enjoyable story. So very much recommend, and hope it can intrigue more people in, because it's a really good series. Then we probably have, I was looking at our picks, one of my favorites that we picked for the whole 2021. I forget which year we are in, okay? And that is The Space Between Worlds by Micaiah Johnson. This one was obviously our February pick. And in this one, I just want to say this about the book. Of the 38 realities that have been unlocked, Kara is dead in all but 8. And you're like, huh, what does that mean? So basically it is set in parallel worlds where our main character Kara travels between them. And there's like lots of, you know, details on why and how, etc. that I'll explain in the book that I'm not going to get into now. But it's just very cool, I was going to say. Very interesting to see her going between these worlds, and just like also, you know, taking up how and why and how that plays a role in it, and it's just a very interesting. It also has a FF romance. It is honestly a stunning story that I still think about, and it's just very good. There's so many parts of it that is really cool, and so many parts that are like kind of blows your mind. Like I still think about my favorite parts and I'm like, wow. So I just very much recommend this. I want to talk about stuff, and even though I just checked the synopsis, it does say there, I don't want to like go more into that because I didn't know anything, and I think experiencing it and discovering it yourself is even better. So just know that this is very cool, and I really recommend it. Then we have our March pick, which was A Dark and Hollow Star by Ashley Shuttleworth. And this one, I would admit, was not my favorite for the book club, but I still think a lot of people could enjoy it and have fun time with it. I was just not one of them. In this one we follow 4 different perspectives where they all are, I was gonna say, different creatures. So one of them is like half elf and half human, if I believe I remember correctly, and the others are like elves, and then there's one who's not an elf or human. I don't actually remember what she was, but she's another creature in a different category altogether, and they all like meet and have to, I was gonna save the world, etc. So it's like a YA fantasy. It has possibility for a MM romance brewing as well as an FF romance, and there's also side queer characters as well. I don't want to say much about the story because for me it was not it, but I still do believe that a lot of people can enjoy this and have fun with it if it sounds like it is something for you. It was just the direction the story went, was not it. If you want all the tea for why, check out the live. I would say like it's for fans of this certain YA fantasy, and I know a lot of people have enjoyed it. So if it sounds for you, then you should check it out. I personally was also apprehensive going into it. So like, of all, not my vibe, but still, you know, reading different things and exploring it is always important as well. And then we had Blackwing Speeding by Alex London. This was our April pick, obviously. So this is also a YA fantasy. And this I had read previously, so it was actually a reread. And it is the first one in a trilogy. And this one is set in this world where we have a lot of birds, people hunt birds, etc. And we follow a pair of twins again, which is a bit funny. What are their names? Who knows? Gonna check. They have been abused by their father all their life, and then they need to, like, I was gonna say pay down his debts because he died when they were young. And then Bryson, who is the, I was gonna say the dude of the twins, he is also gay, by the way, so that's where you get the queer up in that way. And he wants to like prove himself, so he decides to go after this ghost eagle that people kind of believe don't even exist, and it's really dangerous to go and get them. And then Kylie, who is the sister, is gonna help him, or is she? We will see. But it's actually a very, very cool YA. It's like set up really interestingly. I haven't really read anything like it in its atmosphere. It's very, very easygoing and just getting into it, very cool. I just really like the relationship between the twins as well. And also I read the second book, which also was really cool, and I need to read the third one, hopefully soon. But yeah, more people really need to get behind this because it's a really cool YA. So really recommend. I mean, I don't know why I said that, because I do recommend all of these in its different ways, because they're all really different, some of them. So I think there is something here for everyone. The next one was our May pick, which was The Navitation World by Winter Peckle. This one has a FF relationship, and we actually follow 4 perspectives in this one as well. Where the world is split in 2, where there's always night and always sun. Dark and cold in one place. Not cold, but on the other part is like sun and daylight all the time. And we have 2 perspectives in each side, and the reason they split like this is because 2 sisters, I was gonna say, fucked up a few years ago. All of their paths interconnecting in a way where they go out on this mission to fix the world, which is now like basically breaking because of things that happened. We have, did I say that? An FF relationship here, which is very precious. One of them is, I was gonna say, the bodyguard slash healer. And then we had the daughter of the queen. And then we have another daughter of the other queen. And then also her love interest, which is a dude. And they're all really precious and have really shiny personalities, I think, on page. I really like, they all become really precious to you. It has very interesting creatures they meet. They're basically like on a journey quest thing for most of this, if I remember correctly. And it is also a duology, so you can read the second book as well, get more answers, finish up the adventure. It's lots of fun. And then for June we have In the Ravenna Star by A.M. Strickland, and here our main, I was gonna say, pairing is a poly relationship. So that was a bit different from like the other rap we have here. I read this and I'm like, what? How do I describe this book? Okay, so this is a standalone, and it was truly a ride because I tried to read a bit of the synopsis now to try to explain the book to you. But basically we are in a land where magic is like, I was gonna say, illegal or only done by the royal family. I'll make her know she has magic and tries to hide it all the light. Then she is, I was gonna say, exposed, and then she needs to go to royal palace to like deal with the fact that she has magic and being taught it, I believe. Stuff happens. I don't know how to like even describe it well. Like, it's coming back to me now, but basically one of the things they need to do is that when they have magic, they get connected with like another person in the royal family who is dead, and then through them they will learn to control the powers, because without them it's like not going well, I believe, if I remember correctly. And the dude she's connected to is very hot. But yeah, there is different relationships, there's different characters, there's plot twists and turns in this, because like, as I said, the book is coming back to me and I'm like, this was a ride. It has also more queer side rap as well, and you know, if you want to stand alone, I would say go for it. I had thoughts on this one as well, but I'm just trying to just be a bit neutral. But yeah, it was my favorite for the club, but it was still entertaining, I would say. And then for July, we read Black Sun by Rebecca Roanhorse. In Black Sun, we have different queer rep. We have a bisexual main character, I believe, and then also different side queer rep, if I remember correctly. Opening scene in this starts out with someone literally getting their eyes poked out. So that was the thing, if I remember correctly, and it is brutal. I don't know how to describe this, but basically we are going up to this event of an eclipse, I believe, and then we'll just like following different characters or preparing for the eclipse in a different way, like kind of a revolution of some sort, and also two other people that is like meant to go there for different reasons. So it is a bit of a sad book, I would say, but still really, really worth it. Very interesting. The sequel is coming now, so I'm very excited for that and see where it's gonna go. And for the life of me, trying to like look behind here a bit of like what is going on, but for the life of me, describing this, it's difficult because I think it has a lot of elements that you just need to check out for yourself, but very much recommend. It's a very, very cool book and I'm very excited to read more. Now for August, we had Gearbreakers by Sohana Mikuta. This one has mecha, I was gonna say lesbians, but I don't actually remember if they're lesbians. It's actually a main FF romance, and then one of them of the girls is part of the resistance. The other one is part of like the ones making the mechas, etc., which is looked upon a bit as gods. Their paths interconnects and they start to work together. That's what I want to say. So again, this was maybe not my favorite for the club because I didn't thoughts. Check out the live show if you're interested. But it still had a really interesting setup. Definitely cool stuff happening. The sequel is coming out soon. I don't know actually if it's a duology or trilogy, but it's coming in July, I believe. Like, it is cool. It is cool, and I definitely see a lot of people would enjoy this. But yeah, check it out if you're interested. It has a really cool cover as well, and it's a wise hi-fi if I didn't say that. Struggling with explaining the genres. Then for September we had Freshwater by Akweke Emesi, and this one is more, I would say, of a magical realism. If anything, it's not really like really fantasy, I would say. So basically we follow Ada, who develops different selves, and she then moves to America. She goes up there. We follow just basically her being depressed and going through so much shit. It's like a very depressing book actually, but it's very interesting but also very sad at the same time, also kind of beautiful. Yeah, it's many things that can be said about it. The only thing I want to say is that I know people with the ID could read this and feel it's very offensive, but I would also suggest looking up the author and see what this book is for them as well, because that's all I want to say about it. But it's not my place to say, but I just wanted to comment on it so that like I'm not ignoring it or anything. It was very different from anything we read. I'm definitely excited to read more by the author. I've read now Pet, amazing as well, but definitely a heavy-hearted book is what I would describe it, but recommends a lot. Then for October we decided to go with Spooky. We read Lord of Eternal Night by Belle Anderson. I don't know if this is like fantasy adult or just fantasy YA. I guess it shouldn't be YA, I don't know. But this one, as you can see, follows a mage and a vampire getting a thing. As you can see from the cover, it looks spicy. And I would say I was not the biggest favorite of this. But I still think people could read it and definitely be entertained by it, because it's more like that kind of book, for me at least, to describe. Every year the vampire kills someone, they get a sacrifice and he kills someone, and then this year we have the mage sent in after him and he's gonna kill him instead of being sacrificed, because it's like a curse having this vampire over them all these years. They do other stuff instead, that's all I gotta tell you. A bit messy for my taste, but I still think you could be very entertained by it and just go for the ride. That's all I gotta say. Then we have Under the Whispering Door by T.J. Klune, which was our November book, and this one is a adult fantasy and it follows our main character who dies, and then he reflects upon his life while living in this tea house, reflecting upon, I was gonna say, how he acted when he was alive and dealing with the fact he's dead. And then he meets this other dude as well, and it has a Emma romance as well as Lord of Eternal Night, if I didn't say that. And I almost fell. I don't know if you saw. It's a lot of people's favorite book. I know a lot of people probably have already heard about it. I think it's beautiful, and it does pinch a punch where you get like a bit like, oh my god, touched. But for me, I'm just gonna say one thing where I think the ending countered everything the book wanted to say. But yeah, you can see more in the live show if you're interested. But overall, a book that had beautiful parts in it, and I know a lot of people love this. So if you didn't know about it, before now, then definitely check it out and read it. And our last book for 2021 was Alasway by Darcy Little Badger. And this one follow Alasway, a main character, who can see ghosts and like commune with spirits, etc. She has a ghost dog, and then her cousin is killed, so she goes out trying to help him, you know, since she can like communicate with the dead, and then she finds out stuff through this investigation. And the main character is also asexual. So that is the wrap in that one. A very cute book. While it is categorized, I think, under YA, it feels very much like a middle grade, but it's very like cute and, you know, a bit spooky, has like, you know, ghosts, etc. But also just being really, really fun and very easy read and easy pace, because you just fly through it because of how it's written. Very impressed that also this was a debut, because very, very fun one as well. I really do recommend this though, and it's perfect for, you know, when you're in that kind of mood for that kind of book. So yeah. And that was all the picks we had last year. So now I talked a bit of all of them. You could see that we read quite a different amount of books. You can join the Discord down below if you wanna join the discussions there. And I will, as I said, leave the links to the live shows. I hope you join us for the club, but also, you know, just check out these books in general, support authors, etc. And you will see me soon in a new one. Leave a rainbow emoji down below if you enjoy this, and you will see me soon. Bye!